Hello, everyone.
We are here for the new year.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Doop doop doop. Ducky
Ducky. And we actually have more ducks. We're only
I was grabbing mine at the same time.
we're just starting with one, and now we show all the ducks. And then because it's water, I'm going to show a turtle just because I can. So, oh, and show the little butt on your pig.
My pig butt.
Yes, look at that
And don't forget, I got the. Remember in class or in like when
with
we
the
were
pencils.
kids,
But yeah, that is kind of cool. Where'd you get that?
my mom had it. She was giving it to like the kids for Christmas, and I was like, "What? They don't know what that is."
Oh my gosh! Did you steal Christmas presents from the children's?
Possibly.
Maybe. Okay. Hey, they got more than enough stuff, I'm sure.
I'm
Um,
just saying.
and 90% of the stocking stuff, they forget they got anyways. So
Yeah,
that's,
exactly.
however, it is the new year and we're talking about new starts and all of those things. And before this, we were talking about ducks. Um, and it got me thinking of a couple of things around ducks, right? Uh, like, let it flow off your back like water off a duck or whatever. And going into the new year and kind of letting things go. I kind of thought about that as we were talking about ducks and letting things go of things that happened last year. And I know that you've thought about this. I know you've talked about it a couple of times this week, probably more than you wanted to. But you do something I don't do, and that's have a focus word for the year. I don't, that's not something I do, but I know a lot of people out there do. And you're leaving behind last year's focus word for a new focus word,
So
right?
I'm not leaving it behind.
Oh, we're not
I'm
leaving it behind.
actually so
Tell
so
people your words first.
okay. So the reason why I have a word, and I, like you, Sarah, have not had words. However, I'm a part of an amazing community, New Reality, and
Mm-hmm.
Eileen and Debbie are inspirational. And last year, um, Eileen, and it wasn't even a word, Eileen does this really great values, which you've done that. It's a
Mm-hmm.
values thing where you pick five or, you pick some words and then you put them into a sentence and it kind of helps you stay focused. Well, the word abundance came up last year.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, abundance in financial was what I need. Who
We
doesn't?
all do, right?
Who doesn't need abundantly financial stability? Um,
Agreed.
but also that comes with success. And I am afraid of success, so I avoided the word of abundance. So this
But
year, right? So this year, when we did a different type of thing at the beginning of the year. Debbie, oh, I can't think of her last name. It's an S. I'll put this stuff in the thing. But Debbie Seuss or something, she's amazing. She does a word vision board with just the
okay.
word. And that's what I did with New Reality last week. And belief was the word that was assigned to me because I, once again, not the greatest at picking my own words. And when we were talking about it, I said that abundance was my word last year and I had avoided it. Well, the whole group, like, kind of got a little fussy because most of them know me. And they all saw the abundance that came into my life last year, abundance and support. Sarah, you're one of those people who abundantly support me. Uh, you and why are names failing me? Jeanette and Elaine and Debbie and Scott and all of the
Cat.
people in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So what I meant by I avoided the word was that my mouth and my brain couldn't find alignment with it. But
Sure.
abundance was everything last year. So this year, it's belief. Believe or belief, whoever you talk to, it changes between
Well,
this.
you have to have a belief and you have to believe in yourself. So it's
And
same word, just different context.
exactly. So belief that I am worthy of what I am doing. I believe the community, I've seen the proof in the community that you helped me build and that everybody has built. That community is amazing. So, belief in that pay system, belief in how everything works. That's the word, and believe in the abundance that happens. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it works.
Sure.
And I'm using the word as opposed to last year, I did
Avoided the word.
word and it was amazing. So if I actually use the word, what are the
The
possibilities?
sky's the limit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, and we are making jokes about it. And I know that I don't come up with one word, right? Uh, but if you don't, and I'll use your word for a second, if you don't believe in yourself, who else will,
Yeah.
right? Because eventually you'll engage with people, and if you don't believe in yourself, they're going to stop doing it too. No matter how many times they give it a chance, right? They're going to stop. So you need to, and I say you universally, like everybody watching type thing. We need to be believing in ourselves to make sure that others join us, right? So that they can have that abundance that you did last year. So, and and I like that you have the word, but I think it's a word that you already had. You wouldn't have started all of this if you didn't believe that it could happen, right?
So this was a conversation we had in the meeting last week. There's
Mhm.
words that our brain associates with something and we avoid them.
Sure.
And so we might have those attributes and we might have the ability to stand inside of it. However, because of where we put that word, we are unable to obtain that word. So I put believe with God and faith. I also
Ah.
fell into a depression 10 years ago for reasons
Mhm.
and requested that God understand that I was going to step away.
Sure.
And
So you were like, I can't use that word because since I associate it with that,
it's a very
yeah.
difficult word for me to bring in. Same with abundance. I think abundantly wealthy, and I was afraid of those things. So when you're looking at words, it we talked about facilitate. That's one of the words on the value sheet that I picked. I associate facilitation with corporation, but I facilitate meetings and connections and
Every day.
every day.
Right.
And it's easy to me. It has nothing to do with corporations, but the coldness of that word resembles that for me. So being able to say, hey, I am a facilitator, that brings a different idea. But we all look at words differently. And Sarah, it kind of comes to mind when we talk about social media. And
Sure.
when we're talking with Davika. Davika is a sexologist.
Mhm.
She's polyamorous. I'm polyamorous. There's a whole world of polyamory people. And some of those people think that it's a lifestyle. They believe they live it as a lifestyle. So they
Sure.
shorthand it to poly. And then there's those that are born this way, always going to be this way. It is polyamorous. We use the whole word. It is what it
Well,
is.
I saw this on one of the posts, and I think it was Davika, obviously, because she's the majority of who I see these posts from. But somebody said to the effect of, so it's polyamory and monogamy. We wouldn't shorten monogamy to mono, right? And see, look, I got this stupid little
It's
bubble
your
again.
hands. It's as close as you get to the camera, I think.
I don't
There's
know.
a
I
distance thing.
I need to find out how that bubble happens. So if anybody ever actually watches this and can tell me how the bubble happens, that would be great. Um, so but yeah, you saw my perspective on that. Like I
Yeah.
laughed when I saw that at first, and then I'm like, but yeah, that's probably not funny. You know what I mean? Like you laugh just because you're like, right, I'm not going to call something mono, right? I had mono at one point. And sure, a lot of monogamous people pass mono between themselves, but we wouldn't call it that, right? And so I can see the perspective on how you two people can see words differently and have two different relationships with it.
Yep, exactly. And so that's really where it comes from. And then me taking on the word isn't it's me actually letting go of one, the past trauma around the word, and two, and same with abundance. I couldn't let that go until I picked a new word.
Right.
And actually, when I said I avoided abundance, but it didn't avoid me, right? Aha moment had to have happened. So in belief and in belief, that actually led into the conversation of I was afraid of success. I had been afraid of success last year.
Sure.
This year, success is abundantly clear.
And yes, I'm putting my head down. Okay. So but yeah, we all have fears. And in fact, this last week I've purposely talked about my fear to anyone who would listen so that I can get it out there and get some ideas and feedback on how to eliminate that fear. So, and the irony is my fear is putting my opinion out on social media. Maybe I don't have a fear when nobody watches us because nobody's watching us right now. But you know what? I'll put it out here on here, even though nobody's. I only go live on YouTube. I don't go live on Facebook or LinkedIn. And I think that's out of fear that somebody would actually watch it. So I'm putting this on you. A week from today, I think is January 18th, if I'm doing my math correctly. On that day, I need to pick a second social media, if not a third, and you need to make sure that I do that.
Okay, I will.
Because look at that, accountability coach. Do some accountability with me. Make sure that
Right.
I do that next week, okay?
Exactly. And this also leads into the earlier conversation of one, it leads into like what Davika does, right? Davika has to boldly go and tell people this word means something. We have somebody who, due to compliance, we can and cannot say, they have to watch what they're doing.
Well, we can say, because we're not saying her name, we have somebody that does financial services, and due to financial legal constraints, she has to be careful to not give advice and to not say a lot of things that we would want her to say because we want free legal advice, right? Like,
We want free financial advice. Please
right,
just give that to
right.
us.
So,
But that goes into the legalese of it, right? So
mhm,
once you type something,
yep,
once you're typing that, now what's the repercussion of that?
correct,
Once Davika screenshots somebody's response in a group and people tell her, well, you can't share that. Actually, I can. You posted publicly. It's a
right,
public forum. So your words become public and you don't know who sees them or what sees them. And I know that for me, I'm an open book. I don't care if you are a part of my story, I'm going to tell my story. You, however, have very sensitive stories that do revolve around very intimate things. And here is one of my things about that is one, nobody will ever figure it out because you've lived many, many lives and nobody's able to dig into that. Two, the story is always names changed, spaces changed, all the things in all of the fictional books that we read, right?
right.
And that story not being shared is a shame for the person who needs to hear it.
And I that's what I have to get to is how many times have I read a story on social media on somebody's blog where I'm like, wow, I saw that happen in a company I worked for, but I knew it wasn't my company. I was just like, I can resonate with that, right? And I need to get to that point where I can write the story without having that worry. And my first go at that is my blog on the 15th is the first time I'm writing a story that happened, but it's, what is the disclaimer? The names in this story have been changed to protect the innocent or
Yep.
whatever the
The innocent,
disclaim
the guilty, all the people.
whatever. I don't know, some CSI disclaimer, but
I love that. And I love, if you guys have not read, look, Sarah has 2 blogs. I don't read blogs. I've read 1.5 of Sarah's blogs.
well, let me be clear. I have only one blog. I have multiple blog posts. Um, but
I've read
yes,
1.5 of them, but they're amazing. The heart and the knowledge and the experience behind what you're sharing is phenomenal. And the way that you write it, Kat and I, Kat Markel, my web design, we 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 were like, if you read Sarah's blog and then go to make your own blog, you want to like give yourself a few days.
well, I appreciate you saying that. I do.
Because that's how we feel. I don't know how many drafts you did, but I feel like your A plus 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 is beyond, that reproach. And I love that about it. But that's what I love about having you as my friend and having you as somebody who I get to network with. Because everybody knows if you receive a text message from me and you don't have to decipher it, something's probably wrong.
She is kidnapped if all the words are spelled correctly.
Exactly.
Like, you know how like everybody has that thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. So just understand that the stories and the things, it's the same thing as the words. It's the same thing. And so whatever you all are doing, because Sarah and I are really good. We don't have meetings after this for a reason. But the words and the things and where you're going with your year is very important. Sarah and I both are in the new reality. There's a 12-week program. What are you going to do in 12 weeks? I'm going to have 60 paid members inside of the community that we have built. But here's the thing. I could say 60 members, and we already have 30 who some pay, some don't. There's things in there. But if I say 60 paid,
That's a whole different concept.
that's a
Because it's what
different
we
story.
talked about earlier this week. Remember one of our first conversations this week? I don't need more clients. I give my stuff away for free. I need more people that'll pay me, right? And so being very specific with your goals helps you achieve them.
Exactly.
So my goal for those 12 weeks is a little bit different. We can do that in another episode because we are at 18 minutes because you and I have the ability to talk. But all of our QR codes are over there.
Outside.
Somewhere. Look for the QR code. If you don't know what one is, I don't know how to help you with that.
It's over there. So sign up with us, talk to us. We have a community. If you are
Yes.
a business person who is like, I don't know what I'm doing, we literally have a free community where you can post that question and several people will answer their takes and their viewpoints, as well as actually ask you about you before they give you a response. I love when I see those. Hey, I don't know this much about you. Can you answer these questions? And then I can answer.
Exactly.
And if you pay for that community, there's marketing help and all kinds of other things, and become a part of my 60. Why not? Also, Sarah is an amazing leadership consulting, teacher, leader. She teaches leaders how to be better leaders or non-leaders how to be leaders.
But I think consulter should be a new word.
I like consulter.
So this was amazing. I am actually going to want this because I think I'm going to clip some stuff out of it. We were funny today. So
I appreciate you all. I am going to close out this meeting and we are going to see each other at the end of the video. Bye, everybody.